Ayo. Good morning, Zibby. Good morning to all our listeners out there. Good to be with you all for a Thursday on Business Express.
All right. So there are a few things that we're speaking about. Top of the list is the BVN and expiry. Does the BVN expire?
Yeah, social media, man. I sent you guys a video of some random guy online that put out a video which has apparently been spreading everywhere, saying that the BVN expires. So it prompted the central bank to put out a notice yesterday saying that the BVN in fact does not expire. So it's just if anyone is wondering, or if anybody saw it, we have to just do our jobs just to let people know that so the BVN does not expire. I just wanted to quickly put that to bed. Central bank has put a note out. Your BVN number stays for life. It's just that if you want to make any changes to what you submitted to your bank, there are certain regulatory hurdles that need to be cleared. So just make sure that your information is correct. That's all. So the BVN does not expire.
So what would be the motive of a person who goes on social media, records this sort of video and puts it out there?
Yeah, people clout, maybe people want to bolster their credentials as thought leaders and so on and so forth. And it's just misinformation. It's, again, social media is now, if you are a government outlet, you've got to be aware of what's going on. And I commend the CBN for quickly putting out that letter. I just hope that the thing is, these things spread faster than the clarifications. The clarifications never spread as fast as the false news. So you just hope that enough people are aware, because these things cause panic and they just cause people to just, to fret. So again, BVN does not expire. Just to put that out there.
And Rotus, is actually very, very funny that actually came up, because just yesterday, my dad called me that somebody called him from his bank, quote unquote, something about his date of birth, his BVN going to be blocked, and so on and so forth. So my dad, being who he is, called me immediately and said somebody called him saying this, and all that. And I said, what kind of number did they call you? And he said it was a regular phone number. I already knew what was going on. I said, just do not answer anybody. It's probably most likely one of those fraudulent guys trying to, get access to your account and all that. So imagine somebody else who wasn't well informed seeing that video, getting that information. So a lot needs to be done to get that info out there so that everybody knows that this is the real position. Your BVN does not expire. Don't give out your information unnecessarily to anybody.
Well said. Agreed. Well said.
All right, let's talk about President-elect Bola Tinubu's working visit to Europe. Now, as on Wednesday, that's yesterday, he left Nigeria for Europe on a working visit. In a statement by his media office, said Tinubu was scheduled to return to the country shortly for preparations towards his official swearing in as president on May 29.
Yeah, nobody on Twitter that saw that notice seems to believe it. They believe he's gone for medical issues. If you look through the notice, I mean, you're not even president yet. What working visits are you going on? It's convenient that he's going to Europe, since that's where he's based in Paris. He has a home there. That's where he went to rest after he said he was resting after the campaign. And if you look through the statement that was put there, there's some really interesting things there. So, for instance, he says, well, I want to see pictures. We want to see pictures. We want to know who he's going to visit. Is he going to come back and announce a deal? But then, if you look through some of these, what was said here, he says, for example, already meetings with multi-sectoral actors in Europe's business community, including manufacturing, agriculture, tech, and energy, have been lined up. And, look, when you say manufacturing, what does that mean? You're going to meet somebody in Europe who is into manufacturing. Is the business person in Europe, are you going to talk to them to come and open a manufacturing plant in Nigeria, what exactly are you going to talk to them about? Have you spoken to manufacturers in Nigeria to ask them what their problems are? The number one problem is power. I mean, it could be number one power, foreign exchange. Even if you go overseas to go and visit or talk to a business community person in Europe, they will tell you that they need a transparent single exchange rate, because if they're bringing money in here to start anything, at what exchange rate do they exchange their euros? It's the same thing with the agricultural parts. I mean, you're going to go and see somebody in Europe who is into agriculture to do what? You know, to come and grow crops here. Have you spoken to the people here that are facing challenges in agriculture? You know, food is wasted. There's not enough power for storage units and so on and so forth. Insecurity is impacting agriculture. Look at where food inflation is. And then the tech part, it's so ambiguous. What do you mean by tech? Tech where? You know, so I don't know. It really just sounds like something. And then if you look at the language here, you know, the Tinubu is walking a very fine line, where he's trying not to tell the truth about the failures, economic failures of the last administration. So for example, there's a part here, the statement says, reviving the country's economy forms a major plank of Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. And what do you revive? You revive something that's either in a coma or is unconscious or probably dead, right? There's another part where it says, Tinubu hopes to convince them, that's the business people in Europe, hopes to convince them of Nigeria's readiness to do business. Does that mean that they've lost confidence and they need to be convinced? Does that mean the last administration completely tanked the business? So there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. And, you know, I'm skeptical, but I hope to see pictures. You're not, you know, we don't even know who his economic team is. So if you are a business person in Europe and the president-elect is coming to meet you to convince you to come and do what, I don't know. Who are the members of his team? You're not even inaugurated yet. So I got to tell you, I, like a lot of people online, I'm very suspicious. I suspect it's his health that is going there. But hey, you know, I'll just go with the statement that is put out. Let's hope that it is followed up with pictures, videos, deals. Because mind you, your president went for coronation over the weekend, and he's still there because he's meeting with his dentist. So you have to imagine that this administration did nothing to did nothing to curb medical tourism. So both your presidents and your president-elect are in Europe right now for, well, at least one of them is there admitted for health reasons. So it's just, you know, Zibby, I'm just tired, man. I just hope that the average Nigerian gets what they get.
Rotus, is this common practice for presidents-elects who have not been inaugurated to actually have these international business meetings? This common procedure, and in what capacity have these?
Yeah, but Zibby, he doesn't have. It's odd, you know. He doesn't have a team. He hasn't announced anybody. So who does he go with? Who is his new minister of finance? Who is his minister of trade and investment? He doesn't announce a team. So it sounds really sketchy. I mean, yeah, it's not odd. You can go and start visiting people,
but what if he's working with people who he already, I don't know, has in mind, or he has earmarked to, you know, be in those positions, that he's working with them already?
No problem. Just let's see the video of you sitting down at a table with these investors. Let's see the pictures. Let's see it. Well, let's see you announce a deal. Like I said, they've got their own concerns. There are a lot of domestic issues that need to be addressed here. So this manufacturing people are Greek power. Let's see what comes out of it. We expect to get more information over the coming days.
All right, let's go on to WhatsApp. Benga says, so the president attending to his dentition in the UK. Interesting. It certainly is interesting. I can't think of that complex dental surgery that would need an international trip, but oh well.
Amazing. It's amazing stuff.
Yinka says, Rotus, did he say thought leaders? I laugh in French. Such news would travel fast because it's what some folks want to hear, because it gives them the opportunity to bash the CBN and by extension the government. Now, this is where we expect the DSS to move in. Find this fella responsible and bring him or her to the market square to come explain. Interesting. I read about something like this from China, where someone is actually arrested for using ChatGPT to create false news. And the police did go in, swoop in and pick him up for his false news.
Yeah, I mean, but we're not China, so people do have free speech as long as they're not threatening the federal government or threatening the safety of other Nigerians. People, do have a right to go out there, and the regular agencies, us in the media, we just have to do our job to debunk such things.
All right, so let's move on to the next area. This has to do with the federal government policies that are to boost economic growth.
Yeah, this one was very interesting. An administration was today. Today is the 11th. You're leaving on the 29th. So you're leaving in 18 days. That's 2 weeks and 4 days. You're putting out policies that they say will boost the economy. The Nigeria Investment Policy, Nigeria Automotive Industry Development Plan, and Trade Policy. Yeah, okay, sure. You're not the one that is going to implement these policies. Off the top of my head, your investment policy, again, your exchange rates, until you sort that out, no one's going to bring money in here. So that's on the investment policy. The Automotive Industry Development Plan, you need power, you need steel. Ajaokuta is still wasting away. Before you can start to develop any automotive vehicles here, you need to be able to have the proper, look, every manufacturing person in Nigeria imports machinery. So you got to sort that out as well. Then the trade policy of Nigeria. Your infrastructure is not together. We already have the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The people have been worried about dumping goods here in Nigeria. So look, again, with an administration that's leaving in 2 weeks, I don't know what's, they've just been making announcements after announcements after announcements. And it's just something you could have done while you were in office for 8 years. You didn't do it, and now with 2 weeks to go, you're releasing policy. Who is good? Oh, look, I just don't know. I just don't know.
Better late than never, perhaps.
Yeah, but who's going to implement these policies? You can make. You see, we love making announcements in Nigeria, but the implementation and there's so much hard work that needs to be done in this country for things to be fixed. You can't just come out with a policy. I mean, who is the next administration now? And they might have their own plans. So anyway, it is what it is.
All right. Let's move on quickly to the next story here. And this is about the federal government approving 2.4 billion naira high performance center.
No, do I need to analyze anything there? Even the two of you, what do you think of that? Which one? Look, honestly, have you seen the number of things approved by this administration in the last few weeks? They've just been signing contracts, making approvals, disbursing money, and they're heading out the door. I mean, does something not smell fishy to you? Which high performance center
that they're putting some of these things in place for the next administration to continue, bro?
Okay, so you are now putting.
Isn't there the possibility that the incoming administration and this one, I don't know, probably have some sort
synergy,
of synergy? Yes. And
look, I love the fact that the two of you are taking the positive side of it. That's good. That makes this balanced, because honestly, I am incredibly suspicious of all these things. It sounds like money for the boys. I don't know, as far as when it's going to be built. When the timeline of delivery, the minister there of sports and youth, he's on his way out. So I'm glad the two of you are feeling positive. Let's see, we're here, right? Let's follow it and see when this high performance center will be built. But as for me, all these announcements with only 2 weeks to go in office, I don't know.
All right, let's see. I think we can take one more message, and this one comes from Twitter. David says, some people travel to Egypt before the elections as what? And I think those are all the messages that we have coming through. And that's all the time that we have for Business Express.
That's right. Thank you so much, Rotus, for joining us this morning.
All right. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for all your messages. You guys take it easy.
All right.